Hey guys, little command prompt windows popping up on my computer once I boot here. So, big ups to the little rat pirates living on my computer. Maybe they're here with us now. Maybe they're here with us now and are hanging out, are here for the show. Um, I've had issues with my computer being breached, and I'm kind of paranoid of the same thing happening, and it's not a good sign when you have command prompt windows popping up. So one like equals one malware bytes, but for the time being, they can stick around. It's like when my Spotify got hacked. It's like, all right, well, maybe we can make this work, but no promises. I'm a little frisky tonight. I conveniently slid into the position of the gay best friend at the psychology meetup of all girls today, to which I guess I feel utterly diametric ambivalence towards, but what else is new? I've fallen. Um, I've fallen. Fallen where? Fallen to what? Um, I'm facing another real block. I really ran with the death, the cold might, brute might of the winter, and I wonder if I've pushed a bit too hard. I come on and can talk a lot about um, really heavy shit sometimes, I think, and I feel, hence why I'm so compelled to do various talks and things. And it's one thing to come on and to flap around and speak certain words. But words always come from somewhere. Words always come from somewhere. And it has me wondering, again, according to what do we speak our words in terms of? And the way in which our bodies shape our minds in that sense. So what exactly do I mean by that? And why did I start with the fact that I've fallen, or that I feel as if I've fallen in some sense? Because I have come up against a rotten deja vu, if you will. Do you ever feel like this has all happened before? You know? Do you ever feel like life is kind of on repeat? Like the same sort of cycles and patterns keep showing up, and it's the same kind of recognizing that, and then what do you know, the recognition of that becomes its own pattern and kind of spirals into its own staircase of familiarity and extinguishment and compensation. What does it mean to learn from experience? What does it mean to learn from experience? What is experience? And in the case of falling, in the case of things not being too good, the world not being too good, um, me here being something akin to that world out there which is no good, similarly following suit. How fun is that? How fun is that? What is that experience? What is there to learn? Um, hmm. Without making myself so vulnerable and sacrificing something of my particularity, I guess, against my will. I'm very happy to be particular when it suits me, but the question again is, why can it be so hard to face reality in a way? Is it just me, or is this idea of learning from experience something rather painful? And I really emphasize the pain. I've been noticing it's a pattern lately. Um, because it's real, it's there. There is a difference. Life is different, and what I mean by that is, for there to be something good, there has to be something not so good, and that difference between things that are good and things that are not so good, it seems as if there's a real difference there. And I think this question, or this idea of experience, is something of the knowledge of that difference. And how fun is that sometimes? Where does anything change from? Where does anything change from? It's a bit of a stump sometimes, because, to come on and to flail my hands around the same, you know, familiar sentiments is one, but to draw back to that, you know, experiential body from which we actually draw reference and knowledge and learning in the first place. And I wonder, with that, as that experience is experienced, how that learning, how that sort of extraneous output of our activity and our loot, it's like we're playing Minecraft and you go mining, and how that changes, but how that requires something of a sacrifice, something of real entertainment of reality. I guess just to add a quick note here in regards to sacrifice, is it enough to really say that one knows or has actually learned something for there to be no difference or real change in one's actual embodiment and experience in some regard? And when it comes to sacrifice, what has to actually change? And how does that influence our own knowledge in learning? How does this feed into itself and grow continuously? And does its regression, what does that imply towards its own growth? I don't know. Especially when things aren't all so good. How painful, I guess, sometimes. And I guess some of my break and struggle leaves me with various questions of, if we're going to go deep, if we're going to experience, what a responsibility that can place upon the whole act of learning, in a sense. I guess what I'm trying to get at is I feel left with these questions of like, and maybe you do too, is this need to feel like I've learned something, like I know it, like I get it, like I can be confident in and create something of what I've experienced. And especially coming on here, going into certain depths, from where can I really trust what I share? Am I in the position to feel as if I have something by any means positive to offer? And how do I really feel about that? And what does that mean? That's a rather bleak question, but it seems to follow experience, if I'm being honest. And I think something of all of our own process when it comes to our, you know, creativity and authenticity in the world. So perhaps I've taken some time and liberty in that, but I wonder, you know, again, following experience, where do we find such a resolution or an answer? If not in a certain leap of faith on some level, how can we learn to take that responsibly? How can we really know our limits and play within it?
And here we are doing it, right? Where else are we going to go?
It's never perfect. There's no limits to what limits. No, there's no limits limiting the limits. Or there is, but it's just like counting the numbers forever. So with that, and I guess this is kind of where the music might kick in. I don't know. It's like those Alan Watts YouTube videos where they have the background noise and music and stuff. My phone is vibrating directly atop my genitals at the moment. It's actually not too bad. Why? Sorry. Anyways, you know, I think we all maybe we're uncomfortable with this kind of sentiment sometimes because we all, I believe, have somewhere from within us that can notice something of disaster or catastrophe around us and of our, you know, time here, and can see something otherwise, can feel a sense of, or can at least just see a way forward, can see something better, and can genuinely, intelligently find creative steps, can imagine where we can go, what we can do, can see possibility, can breathe a degree of life into this world. I think it's what so much of our art and moral truths are about. And I think something about it makes us uncomfortable because it I think sometimes what really comes from within is relegated to such an intimate domain within. It's banished to the movies or to fantasy or to whatever, and you know, very well, because this world around us, it's not so much a fantasy all the time. Yet these days, sometimes I find less of a real line between said worlds. Some days. For better and for worse, right? For better and for worse. That's questionable. But I think we ought to get more comfortable with that state so that we can learn to, I don't know, maybe close that gap between learning and experience in a way, because I feel as if, first of all, there ought not be a gap for there to be any, you know, successful outcome when it comes to learning from experience. There's deep similarity. And to quell the never-ending repetition and confusion in a way, to let life live. To let life live. To follow to the best that we can, right? Because I think learning is an experience. So hope that inspired any creativity, any reminder of that path forward we're all able to see, I believe, at least in some regard, some spirit, some means, the faint recollection of an end, somewhere to go, because I think we are aspirational beings. It's just kind of what we're built for. So what will any of this look like or amount to going forward? I don't know. I don't know. Will it continue to repeat and regurgitate the same themes and content? Because there seems to be something of a running theme, for better and for worse. Is it the same character but in different clothing? I don't know. Do we all have core? So, good luck. I'll see you around. Thanks for entertaining this whole dance. Appreciate having the space, and I intend to continue to show up for that appreciation as well as I can, and hope my blocks and absences don't mean anything they don't intend to. I don't know, or turn out for the worse in some way. It's just some of my own anxieties talking, but here we are. Here's the honesty again. Okay, peace, adios.